Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald and today we're going to look at how to make a Flower Girl Pomander. So a Pomander can be small, it can be large, it can be done in an open loose style, but what we're going to do is we're going to use these lovely little spray roses and we're going to create quite a tight Pomander. So I think this works quite well. They're less likely to get damaged and it looks a little bit more modern. So what we've got these little spray roses, and what I've done is I've taken a whole load and just cut them short. So we've just cut them so that we've got about an inch or a couple of centimetres stem. What I've got here is I've got a piece of dry foam. So you could use wet foam or you could use dry, but with this one we're going to use the dry and we're going to use a hot glue gun for attaching our flowers. The other thing we need some ribbon. So the first thing I want to do is cut ourselves a loop. So this is going to be the handle for our Pomander. And I'm just going to use a nice wire, and I really want this to be secure. So I'm just rotating that. So we've made a bit of a loop and we've put that on. And I'm just going to tape that. So this will be our handle. And then we want to have something at the other end maybe. So we're going to create 1 or 2 or even 3 loops, or should I say tails, and we can just do them like creating like a little bunch. Again, just making a loop and just catching that with a wire. So again, I'm going to tape that. And the reason I want to tape that is we're going to put this through the Oasis. So essentially we've got a little unit for going at the bottom, we've got a unit for going at the top. So with my foam, I'm really just going to skewer this through. So I want this wire to be nice and straight. And this is where taping it makes sense, because this makes it much easier to put into the actual foam. So now I just want to roll that over so that it's not going to come off in any way, shape or form. And then we want to do the same again with our tails, but directly opposite. Now what we can do here is we can use a little bit of our glue. Now with the hot glue you have to be very careful. Years ago we used to make bridal work and use hot glue and dry bases all the time, and every weekend I would end up getting burnt fingers. Great thing with this glue gun is this is the one that's more up to date, so you do have a switch. So if it's getting very hot you can put it off for a little while, then put it back on. So it doesn't need to be absolutely scorching hot all the time. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our little rose heads, put a dot of glue, and then just start with our flowers. So what you need to do with this really is have a nice cut on the flower so that the stem's quite secure, and then we're just going to work our way around. So you'll find that with the hot glue you've got lots of little trails of glue. Don't worry about that, we can sort that out at the end. So really I'm just going to work in a methodical way. So the idea of using the cup is it just gives us a little bit of support, because this is the danger with roses, is that if you're constantly touching them and bashing them, so you don't want to be damaging them on top, you want to really just hold them from the sides. I mean, in lots of ways they're quite secure, they're quite strong. And if we're putting one in and it breaks, then we're just going to change it and take it back out. The glue really is the thing that's going to give it a bit of strength. What I'm looking for is like there is a certain shaped hole, so putting in a smaller head is better. And we're just going to work our way around. So with these little Oasis spheres or floral foam spheres, you can buy them in different sizes, so kind of like 5 centimetre, 7 centimetre. You need to have discuss this with your bride beforehand as to what size you're going to do. But definitely cutting all your roses in advance really makes it so much easier. Now you could make this the day before. Be quite easy to do. What you want to do is probably hang it up, and you could put like a plastic bag or something over it to cover it. Give it a little mist with some water, and then just put it somewhere where it's going to be protected and cool, and it'll be quite fine. So you can see that we're building this up as we go and just working in a kind of methodical way, going around the edge. So I'm being careful not to bash this down onto the cup. I just find it easier if you've got the cup because it holds it in a very set way, and you don't really need to keep moving it around or picking it up. You can just literally come in. Now, one thing that is worth noting is that you can cut a lot of roses and end up you've cut too many. So what I would do is I would slightly measure it visually in your mind or with your hand as to how many you think you need. Cut just slightly less, and then you can always cut some more. But once you've cut them, then basically that's too late. So if you end up that you've cut twice as many as you need, you're going to end up with a bit of wastage. It's not the end of the world, but you don't really want to waste product if you can help it. So yes, these glue guns are a real improvement. Now I'm not going to use that rose because it's got a little bit of damage from water that's gone in there. So we'll just get rid of that one. And yeah, this is a good thing. You want to just check your flowers as you're using them. So yes, be really careful with the glue because it does get really hot. And I think this is why a lot of people moved over to the fresh or the wet Oasis for using for bridal work. A, it's better in the sense that the flowers are getting an actual source of water, but it's also much nicer because you're not burning yourself, which is great. So now you can go mad, and you could, if you had a broken head like this one, the stem broke, if you were feeling that you were short of roses, you could just glue it onto the ball. You could also glue it onto the flowers beside it. The great thing about this style and this shape is that actually it's very secure in the sense that it kind of protects itself. You know, the flowers are butted up against each other. But as I said earlier, you can make this in a more loose, open style, so more floral. What I would do is I'd be inclined to just base it with foliage first, but you need to keep it quite neat. And then you can add your, so we need about this much roses. Yeah, so you can then add your flowers. The danger is when it's in a loose style is you're going to have foliage and then your flowers are going to stick out a bit more. So they're much more at risk of being broken. But you have to remember that this is really for use for one day only for a special event. They won't use the flowers until they really need to. And then actually at a certain point, the flowers will get put down. So the flowers just have to survive for the main event. So in some ways, you don't need to worry too much about making the perfect thing that's going to last forever. It needs to last for the day. That's it. But obviously you don't want them walking down the aisle and things falling out. And that's where the glue is just perfect. Now with this sphere, this wasn't a bought one. I could only find ones that you would soak. So I had to make this one myself. And that's not too hard to do. You just need to take your time and just sculpt it with a nice sharp knife. So again, that one just broke. But what I can do is I can just add a bit of glue so that really when it goes in, it's touching those flowers to the sides. So we've got our ball. Now, as you can see, there's lots of little tails of glue. So now is the time really just to take them off, and we can just carefully work our way over. So this is very plain, this is very simple. There's no reason why you couldn't create something that has a range of colours. So this could be pink and white, pinks and creams, you know, you could do raspberry ripple sort of effect. You can get different effects. This would work with different types of flowers as well. So you might want to use delphinium. You could even do it all thistles. It depends, but what you want is a flower that's got a nice kind of symmetrical shape that you can easily glue onto this base. And it's as simple as that. So we've got a beautiful little pomander that's ideal for a little flower girl. Just mist this with water, put it in the box with the other flowers, and I think this is a nice size for a young child. So I hope you've enjoyed watching our video today. We've got lots of new videos coming up, so please click here to subscribe, tap that bell, and you'll be notified of all the new videos. And thank you for watching.